Okay. So, Assalamu alaikum to all. This is Dr. Madiha Batul from the platform of WEmpower Pakistan. And today we are going to deliver another lecture from Spring lecture series, and it's related to research methodology. As we all know that to do research is really interesting, but to do it systematically is a daunting task. It's very challenging. So especially for the students and the researchers from young community. So today we do have Dr. Sidra with us, and she's going to talk about how we can systematically get this research done. She is a postdoc researcher in Southwest University, Chongqing, China. And she did her PhD in material science and engineering from Yangtang University. Her research is focused on layered oxide materials for lithium sodium ion batteries and all solid state lithium ion batteries, as well as the electrode materials that are used for this purpose. She has received research funding from Natural Science Foundation of Yongqing for the development of these sort of materials. She has published her research work in various well-renowned international journals. So today, we warmly welcome her on this platform. And today she's going to talk about research methodology. Dr. Sidra, over to you, please.
Thank you, Dr. Madiha, for the introduction. And I shall share my screen now.
Yes, please.
Okay, so today the topic which I'm going to deliver is research methodology. This lecture is more beneficial for the beginners who are just starting their research, or for the students, because they need a good direction to start their research. So I have planned to deliver the lecture for the beginners at this stage. First of all, we'll talk about the research, that what is research is all about. Usually in our society, whenever somebody is collecting some information about a product or any kind of service, so they name this as they're doing some research. For example, if you're going to buy a car, you're planning to go to buy a car, and you are gathering some information that which brand is good and different kind of configurations about the car. So it's kind of misinterpretation in society that they name is as research. Or if you're planning to go to see a hospital, to a doctor, and you are asking somebody that whether they are satisfied with service of that particular hospital. So people usually think like this is research, brings research over something, but actually it's a misinterpretation. Research has a very clear objective, or you can say a very clear purpose. So for having a clear objective, or a clear purpose, you should have a problem first, right? So I have categorized research into two keywords actually. First one is objective, and the other is analysis. So for objective, as I said, that research is basically having clear objective or a clear purpose of doing something. And after having that objective or a purpose, you are going to design the way in which you will conduct that research. And finally, you will be able to get some information from that particular design or model, and you will analyze the result, and we will come to a point, and that information is really useful for the society. So in short, if we want to define research, it's not about only collecting information about something. It's basically collecting the data in order to have a clear objective or clear purpose of doing something. And then after that, after collecting the data, you need to also analyze it and come towards a conclusion. So basically, what is research methodology? In some easy words, we can say that research methodology is about the practical steps of your research, that how did you do it? if you have a purpose or a task, or you can say an objective, but the practical steps which you are taking to perform it is basically the research methodology. Or in other ways, we can say that research methodology is a way of explaining how a researcher intends to carry out their research. So the whole process of carrying out the research is based on the research methodology. It is the specific procedure used to identify, choose, and process, analyze information about a certain topic, right? So first of all, for carrying out the research, the steps or the way of doing it is to identify something, which I have explained in this figure. Like the first one is identification. Identification of the problem is very important for research. Whenever you are beginning your you can say you are going to begin your research, you should identify the problem first. Usually the students, when they are starting their research, they actually don't know about the problem. You will ask them like, what is your plan, like which area you will be going to conduct your research. So they will just say, I want to do research on that field, but they don't identify the problem which they are going to target. So first of all, every researcher should have this specific way to perform the research. Like first of all, you have to identify the problem. And when you will identify the problem, then the next step is about the collection. Like you will collect the data, or you in any form, like for the scientific people, they usually have the data in terms of conducting the experiments, or having some you can say some instruments to get the data from. And for other research areas, like for business or for social sciences, usually you have surveys or interviews or other kind of methods to collect the data. But overall, the methodology is similar for everyone. Like you, for first of all, the identification of the problem, and then you are going for the collection of the data. And once you have got the data, then the next step is about analysis. Like whatever and you can extract from the data, you should. Sometimes the researcher are capable to collect the data in a very good manner, but they cannot be able to analyze it. So analysis is also a very critical point of the research, which is very important. And after analysis of your data, you are going to disseminate the results, or you can say the conclusion which you have got. Dissemination is basically publishing your work in a research article or patent or any book, writing in a book or whatever. You can say it's basically the publicizing your data which you have obtained from particular research. It's a dissemination. And then your data which you have already publicized, that is basically now useful as is available in the society as a useful information. So this small chart is basically helpful to understand what is research methodology. So moving towards the next, there is certain, you can say there is certain confusion between methods and methodology among students. So methods is basically the procedure or technique used to collect that data. As I have said before, like for scientific people, they have their own procedure to collect data, and for social sciences, for business people, for different kind of fields, everybody have their own technique or procedure to collect the data. So that specific procedure to collect data is said to be methods. But methodology is totally a different thing. Methodology is the theory that how research should be undertaken. So methodology involves so many steps, and methods is just only a subset, or you can say methodology is a superset and methods is a subset of it. So learning methodology is really important to conduct a good research and to save your time. Actually, if you have learned correct methodology to conduct the research, you are actually saving your time, your resources, and you are getting a good result in a short period of time. So to carry out a good research, I have like design some points, which is said to be the research process actually. So the research process, in the research process, there are 6 steps as I have formed it. The first one is the formulation and clarification of problem. So first of all, every researcher should understand that what is the problem which they are going to solve. You should be very clear about the problem which you are going to solve, and then you can be able to finalize your topic. Actually, among students, this is major problem that they cannot be able to identify the problem. That's why they cannot be able to finalize the topic. Sometimes, most of the time, they are really worry or involved in finalizing the topic because the understanding of problem is not very clear to them. So the first step, which is formulation of the problem, or you can say formulation of the topic, it is basically narrowing down your research direction or research topic from a broad subject to a narrow topic. You have to go like in the reverse pyramid from the broad subject to the narrow topic. So usually, if you will ask a student that what you are going to do in your research, so they just say that I want to conduct research on nanotechnology or on electrochemistry or something like that, but they don't have a narrow topic. And narrowing the topic seems to be very difficult for beginners because they don't understand how to narrow down the topic. So among if you're talking about a broad subject like nanotechnology, it's a really vast field. So what you actually want to do in that field is the main question to you. Like, what is your purpose of doing the research? So if, for example, in nanotechnology, you can synthesize nanomaterials and you can apply it to various applications, from medical science to your daily life, and to the construction industry, to other fields as well. But what is your purpose? So if somebody is saying like, okay, I want to work on the purification of water. So basically this is, now you have got the problem that you want to work on the purification of water. That is your actual problem, that you want to purify water. Now, for the purification of water, how will you use nanotechnology? This is like you are narrowing your research topic. So having a problem is really important to narrow down your research, and narrowing is very important to complete the first step. If you're not narrowing down your research, you will still be on the first step and you cannot be able to like complete the procedure of the research. So here I've taken an example from telecommunications, like how can we narrow down the topic? Like, first of all, the journal topic is telecommunication in the Antarctic. So it is a journal topic, like how can telecommunication be done in the Antarctic? And to narrow down the area of the interest, choosing a new telecommunication system, right? The way is to choose a new telecommunication system. But now what is the problem? The problem is the weather, cost, manageability, and performance. So these are the problems for the researcher. Actually, at this point, they have come to know, and they have formulated the formulation of the problem is done. Like, what is the issue with the telecommunication system in the Antarctic? And then they will go for the solution, which is downward, like they say VoIP, like voice over internet protocol is best, right? But you cannot only say that VoIP is best. You need to explain how VoIP addresses all the issues. So till here, you can, at this stage, this is the broad subject, right? And till this stage, you have already formulation of your topic is done, like you have find out the problem in that, and then you have also got the solution to the problem. But you cannot only claim that this is the solution until and unless you will address all the issues related to it. Because usually the researchers, they have they say that this is the solution to the problem. If you will say it like this, it's not the answer to the question. You have to explain it. You have to explain that how this thing is addressing all the issues related to the topic. So this is an easy example of narrowing down your topic. And the next one, after you have narrowed down your topic, now you have to find out the gap. What is the gap in this field? Like reviewing the literature to find the gap. This is your second step, and it is the most important part as well, because if you you will not review the literature properly, you will not be able to understand the gap in the field, and might possible that you will repeat the work which is already been done by someone. So it's then you are not adding something to the field, and might be you will waste your time. So reviewing the literature, proper literature, is very beneficial, and this is a major step in research process. So there are some of the tips which I want to give for reviewing the literature, that in this stage, at this stage, like reviewing for the reviewing, the beginners or the students or whoever is doing the reviewing of literature, they should consider the recent literature. If you want to find the gap, you should consider the recent literature in that field, because you can see the research is growing very fastly day by day, and if you are not connected to the recent work going on in the field, then you cannot be able to find out the gap. So you have to read recent literature. For this, you have a lot of we have a lot of access to the data, like Web of Science or Scopus, and you can be able to search recent articles and find out like what is going on in the field, and what you can be able to input in this field, where how is your work different from that person, and what is your addition to this problem, to this particular problem. That is also important. And another thing is that if you don't have, if any of the beginner don't have the basic understanding of the field, basic knowledge or conceptualization of the topic, so review articles can really be helpful at this stage, to read some review articles, because review articles usually help you with the basic understanding or making or your conceptualization. But finding out the gap, that how you will work in to solve this problem, is for this you need to go through the recent literature or recent articles in that particular area. After you have successfully done the reviewing process, then the next one is designing the research. That now it's your time to plan that how will you design your research, and based on the information you have collected on at the first stage and at the second stage, you will design your research. In this one, you need to make a model, like your steps to conduct your research. Either it's experimental work, it's a survey based, you can see collection of data, or interview based, or whatever the thing is. You have to know the method or procedure to conduct the research. Actually, in the beginning, whatever I was talking about the methods, this part or procedure or technique, it's in this step in which you are designing the research. It's designing your research. Then the next term is, first you have designed the research, and then you're performing it, like you are actually collecting the data, or it is a data collection step. So at this stage, you are able to collect the data, and during collection of your data, you have to at this, like designing the research, and at the collection stage, at designing at this stage of designing the research, you should be realistic. You should consider your timeline, like how long will you take to perform this task, and then how long will you take to perform next task. For example, your data collection, whatever it is, performing experiment or collecting data from interviews or surveys, you should have a clear timeline. How long will you take to do this? And you also need to focus on your resources. Specifically for scientific people, they should have the clear understanding of their the facilities or resources that they have at the place where they are conducting the research. Like if you are thinking to perform experiment about something, you should have a clear clear understanding that these instruments or whatever resources you need to conduct the research is available or not. Because if you will not do it at this stage, then while doing like reaching to the fourth stage, collection of data, you will face a lot of problem, and you have already wasted a lot of time. So at designing the research should be very it's a very effective method if you have done it correctly, and it will save a lot of time and effort in future. So in this collection of data, you have already designed the step, and you can collect your data. And then next one is analysis. Data analysis. Data analysis has had different methods, different field of interest have different methods. You can use softwares to analyze the data. Right now, most of the research areas are using different softwares to analyze different kind of data, and this data analysis is very important to you. If you are using any software to analyze your data, try to get the command over the software, how much more useful information you can extract from your data is really beneficial to go for the next step, which is writing. And the more you will get benefit from your data, the more valuable your write-up step will be, and you will be able to justify your results very effectively in the next step, which is write-up of your research article, or whatever way you are using to publicize your results. So after discussing about the research process, this is the part which I want to combine all together, and to indicate that how can somebody organize the research that they have, and how it all fits together in one way. Or this is one of this slide can also give an overview about writing the article, that how in the research article, how can you follow the you can say the sequence of writing the research article. So the first one is about introduction. What will you research? Introduction part actually needs you to write what will you research. So this introduction part is basically the first step, in which you will write about the broad subject to the narrow topic. You will be discussing about, okay, you are working on you're all, as I have given the example of purification of water from nanotechnology. So you will start from nanotechnology, and you will move towards your narrow topic, which is your purpose, like purification of water. So introduction part basically includes the first step, which you have already done before, formulating of the topic. So what will you research is the same thing. And the next one is literature review, what already exists. Literature review is actually what already exists. So you will read it, and you will get to know that what already exists in the field, and you will write about it. And methodology is how will you research it. Every researcher have their own method to conduct the research. So you will write all about your methodology. And then analysis, what information your data provides you, analysis step. So in your research article, more or less, you will be able to write all about it. Usually literature review part is not like this two, introduction and literature review is included in one heading, which is introduction part. So usually in some fields like scientific research have these two things together in one introduction part, but usually social sciences, they have a different pattern of writing the research article, like writing literature review separately from the introduction. So you can also target the respective journal where you are going to submit your article, like what is the format of the research article there. You can also target any journal, and you can see what is their format. But usually, if you are writing any research article, you can follow this sequence to illustrate your whole research in a single research article. So at the end, I want to consider some of the factors you should consider as a researcher, and these are really important because if you will consider these factors, it will help you to improve your research in a good manner. So the first one is the impact of your personal feelings and belief. In research, as I have discussed in the beginning, that the definition of research is having a very clear objective or real or clear purpose of something. So when you are conducting research or by having a clear objective or clear purpose, so your personal feeling or beliefs should not have any impact on the result or analysis of your research. Right? If you are collecting some information, like I said before, if you want to buy a car or if you want to go to the hospital or something, you are free to include your personal feelings or belief. If somebody is asking you what is your experience, and you are giving your personal feelings or your personal experience. But in research, there should not your research should not impact on your personal feelings and beliefs. So it should not be included. Next one is access to data. You should have the access to data. Usually the academia people also have all have the access to data, like the Scopus or Web of Science, like this. And access of data is very important to carry out the second step, which is reviewing the literature, because you should have access to data. And if you have not access to data, there are some websites who can provide the full. Right now, open science practices are very common, and we have open access journal, gold open access or green open access journals where you can access the data all, and they're not restricted. But still there are some restricted data, so we can use different like a Sci-Hub or something to access the data. And the next step is time and resource or your budget. I have already given you the importance of time and resources or your budget in your research. Like timeline is very important. If somebody has designed the research, so at the collection stage, you cannot spend 6 months or 7 months just on a survey or something. You should have, or if that needs to be taken 6 months or 7 months, that is another thing. But in general, you have a timeline. You should know that I need to finish this task in this specific period of time, and I have all the resources. And your research comes in the budget in which you have as a researcher. So it's also important. The next is reliability and validity of the data. Like your data should be reliable and valid, and you should have analyzed it correctly before publicizing it or publishing it. So reliability, and whatever information you are providing in your research article from the literature should also be reliable and valid. Whatever data you are extracting from the literature review should also be reliable and valid. And the next one is ethical issues. We should consider ethical issues, like for conducting your research, you should not harm the plants, animals, or any of the creature, right? So we need to be careful about the ethical issues. And the next important thing is citation, which is also an ethical issue. If you will not give the credit to the person by citation. Citing the citation or citing the literature is very important. Otherwise, it will lead you towards plagiarism, and that is also we can say it's not a correct way to perform a research, and it is totally unethical to go towards this thing. So this is all which I have today. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Sidra, for such an informative talk. I think it's very informative, especially for young researchers. Now the house is open for questions. Anyone from the participants? Questions, please. Okay, if no question, then I do have something to ask. As you are working in China for the time being, so if I, as you know, like being a Pakistani researcher, we do have to suffer a lot in terms of the research facilities. Then do you think that a researcher can conduct a research successfully by opting a proper research methodology, even if he is working in some underdeveloped country? What's your idea about this? What do you think?
I think because before coming to China, I was also as a master's student. I studied in Pakistan, and I also did research in Pakistan. So I have a clear understanding that what kind of problems a researcher can face in Pakistan, specifically for those who are scientific, who are doing scientific research. It's really it's really a big challenge to conduct the research there. But as far as I can say, methodology, if you are following a correct methodology, you can still conduct good research in some underdeveloped countries that you have mentioned. But the one problem which I have discussed here is about the resources or the budget. So this is a really big challenge to maintain this part, because usually if you want to compete with the other countries in the world, so you need some resources or the budget to compete with them, or to go side by side with the researchers in the other part of the world. So at this stage, the researchers, I would not say might, they will definitely suffer because of the issue of resources. But still, there are, in the limited resources, still somebody can be able to do, and with collaborations, because as a researcher, I know that I have collaborations with other groups in Pakistan. So I tried my best to help them, whatever I can do in China. So think like in this manner, they can be able to perform good research in Pakistan as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sidra. Any participant who is willing to question? If not, then I think we do thank you all for such an informative talk. And maybe some other day or at some other platform, we'll invite you to deliver another talk related to your research work. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
And now the participants may leave the meeting. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Thank you all.
Allah Hafiz.